Welcome to The Dope, an online business magazine committed to the cause of sustainability in the travel industry. This is Shoba Mohan championing this cause of something very close to my heart in an effort to make a difference in why and how people travel as an industry and how we can be and bring about the change. Today we have with us a very special guest all the way from Seattle, USA. Please welcome the persuasive and charismatic Jake Haupert, co-founder of Explorer X and the Transformational Travel Council. Welcome, Jake. It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show. And I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting conversation for all of us.
Thank you, Shoba. It's really nice to be here. Always good to see your smile.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you something about Transformation Travel Council, a community I am proudly a member of, and I also sit on board as the ambassador for TTC in India. The TTC is a community of passionate and purpose-driven individuals and companies who believe in the transformation quality of travel and have dedicated themselves to helping people evolve and grow through intentional and meaningful travel experiences. So welcome again, Jake. Let's talk about your journey and how you thought about Transformational Travel Council and bringing a community of like-minded people together.
So I think, like any movement, any real movement, there are forces that go beyond us that create change. It was about 6 or 7 years ago where, I started really awakening to what I felt like was a disconnection in tourism and travel space. It just felt like it become too commoditized and too digitalized and in a lot of ways too sanitized. And with that, we lost the opportunity and really the power of travel. And it's, how catalytic it can be to, personal progress, but also planetary progress, bringing us all together, unifying us as humanity. It was probably around 2015 where, I started sort of serendipitously running into the right people that seemed to be, on a similar path. We came together at the Adventure Travel World Summit in Ireland, and we started dreaming up what the Transformational Travel Council might look like. A year later, we were invited to give a presentation on the power of transformational travel at the Adventure Travel World Summit in Alaska. And it was really, really well received. It seemed to inspire and motivate people to start looking at travel a little differently than maybe they have been in the previous decade. From there, there was some high profile journalists in the room and a couple months later, Vogue magazine had it on the cover as transformational travel is the trend of 2017. And so at that time, what really was a side project, really became something much bigger. That's when the council really started to gain in momentum, and we started bringing together people from all around the planet that cared and saw, potential and possibility with this type of travel. And since then, we've just been, continuing to grow and inspire and build this ecosystem of people like yourself, Shoba, right? You're the TTC ambassador for India. To have that global network, that cares about travel being, really, really purpose-driven and having this impact on us as human beings is pretty spectacular. And it's been a pretty wild ride up to this point. So very proud and again, really happy to be here with you, Shoba.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jake. There's a lot of change we speak about, right, as travelers, even as individuals, the world as we see today, it could do with a lot of change in attitude. a change in the way we perceive things. And one of the things that I remember we did once the COVID disruption hit us is the kindness, the whole part of what we wanted to tell people was to start being kind to each other. So we did this whole video on kindness, and I thought that was very, very powerful. And we can't talk. There is very, very little said about kindness and empathy. How does that in these days? I mean, as you know, we struggle with COVID. How do you think kindness has helped all of us evolve and grow?
I think I would say that as human beings, we crave connection, and we crave meaning and belonging. Travel is provides this amazing opportunity to open up those possibilities, to connect with others, to connect with self, to make meaning out of experiences, and really, start opening up to that sense of belonging that I think that we all crave. And I think that when we're put into difficult circumstances, when we have to overcome challenge, when we're disoriented, it tends to bring out a little bit more vulnerability and rawness, and I think we become more real, and we come back to the values that I think really bond us, kindness being one of them, and we want to help each other. I think it's in our nature. And now that we've had this time over the last 6 months, it's been already, to sort of take stock, take a breath. We're tapping into parts of ourselves that I think that may have been dormant for a while. And we're realizing that the most important things are centered around our shared values, our shared connection and our shared meaning.
That's really, it resonates very, very closely with me, because, and this is the time that you've seen that there is so much of connection, especially with what TTC has been doing, the initiatives that you have brought about, like the Lighthouse, the Loves initiatives. From the kind of culture we are from, for us, sharing it doesn't come very easily. And I think I mentioned this to you. I'd like people for people to know the initiatives like the Lighthouse, which is a very, very powerful medium. We do Nepal and India now. It's a very important and a very powerful platform for all of us to really come out. And you must come on one of those. You'll see somebody like, somebody very young like Nishant, or, there's Raj sitting in Nepal. There are 2-3 newcomers who have joined in, and the amount of sharing that they do, it's difficult. You see them struggling with it first, but now they're like naturally sharing everything. So I'd like you to talk about the initiatives you began and the ideas behind these initiatives.
So the Transformational Travel Council talks about travel being this container, this vessel for change. And I think the Transformational Travel Council in itself really embodies that, right? We're trying to create that space for sharing and connection and collaboration, very much as a global forum, and creating a safe space for us as tourism and hospitality professionals to share, our successes, what we're celebrating, but also, go beneath the surface and discuss our challenges. Really creates a community that's bonded in a real way, and from our lighthouses to our love sharing circles to, we've got transformational yoga, and we have a meditation with our shaman, Saul Cup in Baja, Mexico. We're really just trying to get this global community a stage and a platform, to really connect with one another. And the lighthouses, I'm a big proponent of conversation over lecturing. I like the idea of a campfire conversation. That's where I have my best conversations, and there's just something about being around that element, that opens people up. And so we really try to create that space within our lighthouses, and allow people to come and do it and be emotional, be vulnerable, be themselves. And it's been really powerful. It's a highlight of my week every week. to get in there and connect with our allies from around the world.
And of course, I wanted to talk about the loves, which is again another very powerful idea for people when they come together and they say. So it also gives a format to it. It gives a structure to it, and it allows people to delve into each and every emotion of theirs. And yeah, we'd like to hear about loves too, Jake.
Yeah. So loves. So within our collaboratory, which is our cooperative of really sharing and learning and connection within the TTC, we have this loves sharing circle that is. I actually do it twice a month here in the States, and then Nishat just started doing it in India once a month. And we started that right at the same time that COVID hit. And I remember there was just a lot of emotion, a lot of power, a lot of fear, that people brought to this, and that loves format, just to share with everybody real quickly. It's an acronym. So you start with a life update, and then you get into O for opportunities or obstacles that you may be facing. V is for victories. And then we've got E for what are you excited about? What are you really looking forward to next? And then S, which is for support. What sort of support do you need right now? And that really creates a nice framework for sharing. We've almost built these little micro families within the TTC where we get to connect and we get to catch up with each other in a real and valuable way. And it's been inspiring to be a part of that, especially when, sometimes there's tears being shed, and it becomes really real and really raw really quickly. But that's what it's about. And that's what transformation is about. You have to go beneath the surface. You need to go into, the challenging topics, the more difficult parts of who we are and where we're at, and work through them together.
Yes, I mean, it is very powerful, and sometimes it is just about opening yourself up to people you probably haven't even met more than twice, even virtually. I mean, I understand that you believe that transformation travel can be, people can be slowly moved and, can be directed towards infusing transformational experience into their travel experiences in the way they narrate them and in the way they promote and propose them. So that is why these designer programs, right, which is something I've been recommending to people. And I think that's a great way to infuse ideas, which is across the board. We have a lot of them. So we'd like to know a little bit about the transformation designer program, the TTC designer programs.
Yeah, fantastic. Where to start? I guess I'd like to acknowledge that transformational travel has been around since the beginning, right? People have used travel as this opportunity to learn and stretch and grow. Travel in many ways is transformational. As soon as we step outside of our house and go explore, there's that opportunity for change. And I think in today's world, especially with transformational travel becoming such a trend, there's this talk that every experience is transformational, or every journey or every product, every program is all of a sudden transformational. Number one, that's not the case. It's not up for us. It's not for us to decide. That is something that's deeply personal, and that's what makes it so incredibly transcendent and so powerful. And so what we're advocating at the Transformational Travel Council is that it's really a philosophy. It's an approach, right? It's bringing a mindset, a growth mindset to travel, and looking at it as something that starts way before you leave, and continues on through the journey. And then the real opportunity for transformation is when you return and you reflect and you make meaning and you look for opportunities to make changes in your life. And that could be changes in your values, changing your behaviors. It's not changing who you are, it's changing who you are being. And I think that there's always opportunity for us to learn in that way. It's very much about developing a travel practice, and so our courses are all around helping those in the travel trade, hospitality, destinations, tour operators, travel agencies, really shift the way that they're approaching travel and guiding and empowering and supporting travelers in their pursuit of transformation through travel. So we've done a whole bunch of research, into ancient wisdom and contemporary sciences. We've looked at travel from the perspective of psychology, psychospirituality, anthropology, neurobiology, and put together a really robust and sharp curriculum that makes a lot of this accessible and gives people the opportunity to adopt new practices, and take an active role in cultivating personal growth and personal transformation through travel. And so with that, we've got the Transformational Travel Designer course, which is a 12-week program. We're just launching our fall cohort here in a couple months, or our I guess that's a different season for you guys over there, but we're moving through that. And then we're also launching our Transformational Destinations program soon. So we're looking for a few early adopters. And we couldn't be more excited about that, as that really allows us to get into a destination and, share some of our perspectives and ideas, collaborate with them and take a destination and create that vessel for change, and work with local communities and all stakeholders on adopting, these practices and methodologies that really amplify the benefits of travel and really accelerate the process. So we're really thrilled about that. And then, we've also just written a book called the Transformational Travel Journal. That was really something that we felt was important to open up to everybody and to everyone around the world to really grab a hold of these practices and these methodologies in a way that serves them the best, and the way that they can sort of approach it at a pace that they're comfortable with and engage with it in a way that really supports their own growth through travel. And so we're really excited to publish that on World Tourism Day, United Nations World Tourism Day, at the end of September. And that should really, empower travelers from around the world to adopt that growth mindset, to their experiences, which we're thrilled about. And we're looking for, other partners, tour operators and destinations to co-brand that book as well. Transformation is meant to be guided, and it's not always, you're not always going to have the opportunity to have a guide with you. And I think that this journal is really going to be able to play that role and be that helping hand in your journey.
Congratulations on the journal, Jake. I've been hearing about it, and I'm so glad that it's going to be out very soon. So what you're essentially saying is the designer program allows people to bring in the elements of transformation travel and allows them and coaches them to use it in the way they design their programs. While the Transformational Destination program will allow you to relook, hoteliers and tour operators and travel designers to look at a destination in different ways that will highlight each one of the attributes of the transformation travel that you endorse. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, it really is about bringing in that mindset and having that adopted, across your company, across your destination. So everyone is synced up and in a rhythm that amplifies the possibility of change.
Fantastic, because that will be very interesting for travel designers in India and also in other places where travel is usually, creativity in travel is great, but it rests with very few people. And a lot of them really don't take the trouble to learn and understand and look at it creatively. Rather, there's a lot of, drawing and taking things from the net or, taking it from someone else's itineraries and putting. So a course like this will actually encourage people to hone into their own skills and dip into their own creativity. So Jake, one of the questions I always love to answer and people ask me, and this is something I'm asking you, what would be the entire range of attributes or qualities that would be inclusive under the transformation travel under transformation travel?
We've got what we call the 4 E's as really the foundation of what we're about, and that is going to be, number one, ethical. It's really important that tourism really embraces high ethics. The next one is empathetic, right? We really feel that the world could use a little bit more empathy right now.
Empathy, yeah, and, absolutely.
And building cross-cultural connection and understanding, and really, hopefully fostering, growth into global citizenship really requires empathy. And then the other E is equitable. We want to be equal in the opportunity that travel provides, from the traveler perspective to the host's perspective, and across that entire spectrum. It's really about belonging, as I mentioned earlier, inclusivity, and understanding your own place in the world, and creating a space that allows everyone to benefit from the gifts of travel. And then the last E is ecological. Understanding the interconnectedness of everything, and really using travel as this great catalyst that I know you're so passionate about, to conserve and preserve and protect, nature and wildlife, and our planet. So those are the 4 E's, and then we, going a little bit deeper in terms of how we like to approach travel, or how we recommend you approach travel, is travel with heart. So there's another acronym, so that's to be humble, to be engaged, to be awake, to be resilient, and to be thoughtful. So that's a really wonderful way to allow yourself to tune in and be present in the experience, and that cultivates those emotions that we want to be able to engage the travel experience with, that I think, drives the results, and really leaves you feeling more connected, more enlightened.
Ultimately, every traveler needs to rethink why he wants to travel and who the ultimate beneficiary is. Obviously, it's going to be the destination and the community and the host community. And while doing that, we transform ourselves, right? So, the tribe in India and Nepal is growing. You know that, and every week we have a couple of new people and faces. How do you think? We probably are. That's really good. And I personally believe, from coming to the first community gathering we had, where you're sitting today, that's where we were, right? And I thought everybody came up with, Ecuador had its own cultural perspective that they brought into it. UK had something. So I thought it was a very special way of bringing various cultures and cultures together. How do you think the Indian and Nepal, the community from India and Nepal create a unique perspective in the way the members from there? Do you think they create a unique perspective? They bring in a different cultural angle that is unique to what you generally have been seeing in the TTC community?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to spend much time in India and Nepal, but and I think that we've recognized this as we've gone through this conversation, is there's this incredible awakening and movement that's happening there around really purposeful travel, I think that I believe it's more about the similarities than the differences that have bonded us. We may take different approaches, different strategies. There are obviously different differences in our culture and the way that we communicate and share and collaborate, but it seems to be coming from the same place. We seem to be recognizing that there might be a little bit of a separation that's happening, that has been happening for quite some time, and we're craving this unification, right? And so you as an example, as the ambassador of India, doing wonderful work around raising awareness of conservation, and how powerful that can be as a brand and as a marketing message. What Raj is doing to bring awareness to to local communities, and how we can work better with local communities, indigenous cultures, and how they can really be driving the conversation and deciding what's best for them. Raj is what he's been able to do and how he inspires is just absolutely incredible. And then Nishant, I met her in the Azores back in October, and we just connected right away. She's the very definition of a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, and I see this incredible, opportunity within your region to affect positive change by bringing intention, and bringing thought and bringing care and bringing love, back into tourism. And I think that's going to benefit us all.
I completely agree with you that it's the sameness that connects us, though our approaches might be different. Yes, I totally resonate with that. These are tough times, Jake, and I'm sure people must have been reaching out to you. I've never seen anything like this. So you must be having a message for all of us, for people listening. And there'll be a lot of young people who listen to, who check on the news, and also some of the interviews that we put out. So it'll be nice to have you say something about this COVID situation, and how you think it is going to change the way we all travel, and why TTC, the Transformational Travel, is absolutely essential for this push forward.
I said at the beginning of the conversation that travel, was very sanitized and commoditized before. It became, a mouse click. And we became so detached and so disconnected from, the power of travel. I think that as we went through the first few years of Transformational Travel Council, there's people and individuals and organizations that have been doing this for many years and more that were awakening to that type of travel and bringing back the unknown of travel, and the challenge of that real travel provides. And with that, the opportunities for growth. But I think that's really centered around letting travel be a place to explore uncertainty and unknown and be comfortable with that, welcome that, invite that. Since COVID, humanity's kind of been thrusted into that same sort of challenge. We were very commoditized, digitalized, and sanitized, right? And we were disconnected. This has challenged us at our core, and we have these really bad habits of trying to control everything, right? Minimize risk, make sure we have a handle on everything and everyone all the time. And I think that right now we're being reminded, how we don't have control, that control is an illusion. I read an article, and we talked in our last Lighthouse about certainty, or uncertainty is the only certainty that we have. So when it comes back to tourism and our friends that across the industry that are facing very, very challenging times, we're kind of being forced to walk the walk at this point, right? We need to be comfortable with the unknown. We have to be comfortable with the uncertainty around this, and that makes it really difficult to market and promote travel. So now it's a matter of how do we reimagine? How do we keep our relationships, burning? How do we create a different kind of value? Now is this fantastic opportunity to revision, who you are and what called you to this industry, and start working, on your business and your organization and with your clients from the inside out, because that's what's going to create that space and opportunity to build the relationship that turns into this amazing potentially life-changing journey down the road, is being cracked open, having meaningful conversations. Now is that time and space and grace to have those conversations with yourself. And so it's a combination of intentionality and surrender, right? We can only put ourselves out there and put a growth mindset and have hope and have courage and be brave. But at the end of the day, we need to also just let go and let flow, is a saying that I love to use.
I completely agree with you. The change now has to be powered both with intention and with surrender. And on that note, thank you so much for joining in, and congratulations for the TTC Journal. We'll be looking forward to that one. Thank you, everyone, for watching this show. Please leave your comments and share generously on your social media. This message for transformation travel, for a new kind of travel, for all of us to look within ourselves, to question the why of why we are in the business that we are in, is a very, very important aspect of travel here onwards. This is Shoba Mohan for the Dope News. Like us and follow us. It's the drive and the change towards making sustainability and transformation in travel our collective responsibility. Thank you.